Hello everyone. Today I will talk about the novel Nights at the Circus by Angela Carter, and my main focus will be the circus and gender roles and relationships. Let's start. We will start with the circus and the carnivalesque. So, what is the carnivalesque? Carnivalesque is a literary mode, an uprising, and easy to guess comes from the word carnival. The carnivalesque is a term coined by Mikhail Bakhtin, a linguist, critic, and author. He challenges authority, tradition, and rules. And according to Bakhtin, carnivalesque is often done by breaking down boundaries of class and position, celebrating the grotesque and forbidden, and reveling in that which is usually derided. In carnivalesque logic, the rich serve the poor, the ugly are declared beautiful, and religious ceremonies are replaced by burlesque. The resultant environment is often described as upside down, since the carnivalesque isn't about ignoring rules, but rather deliberately breaking or reversing them. Carnivalesque touches all over the nights at the circus. We can see all over it. So let's start with the sanctioning of sacrilege. Perhaps the most objectionable aspect of the carnivalesque is the sanctioning of sacrilege via a process called profanation, the bringing down of anything sacred to an everyday, earthy level through blasphemy, obscenity, and debasement. Let's look at Faber's interpretation of Madame Nelson's brothel. According to Faber's, Per- this brothel is a perfect loving utopia where the priestesses of love spend their entire free time with self education and developing their virtues. So, the second feature is familiar and free interaction. The barriers between people are broken down, leading to unlikely interactions, often predicated on a sense of unity and equality. The high are brought low, and low are raised high, but generally with the understanding that either state is unnatural. So, we can ask ourselves where else a journalist could meet a winged aerialist, right? And when we look for free interaction followed by unnatural situations, we can look at Jack living his life behind to follow favors as a clown working at the circus. So there is that. Another aspect is eccentric behavior. So it's no surprise this is a circus. We will see a lot of it. In a state of carnival, strange behavior is welcomed, especially when it is a type of behavior that usually represents by society. It is because of this that writing examining the role of sexuality and gender often employs the carnivalesque, embracing a moment in which natural behaviors usually shunned by society can be revealed and celebrated. So, criminal woman panopticon is what we can call something shunned by society, and then we celebrated them, right? Also, we can look at the shaman who saves Jack Bolser, and of course, favors our main character, dominating, outrageous, very messy, and bold. From the book, quote unquote, she eats and drinks with an enormous appetite. She gorged, she stuffed herself, she spilled gravy on herself. So she is an eccentric lady, that's for sure. Uh, the fourth one, carnivalistic misalliances. Not just social boundaries are brought down in the carnivalesque, worldly and supernatural rules tend to be reversed or suspended too. If there's a time when supernatural and mundane worlds can touch, it is carnival, and the same is true in reverse. If you can create a sense of carnival, the reader will be far more open to the idea of opposing spheres intersecting. So, the heroine of the novel is a winged woman who is allegedly hatched from an egg. She felt her outlines waver, she felt herself trapped forever in the reflection in Walter's eyes. For one moment, just one moment, Fevers suffered the worst crisis of her life. Am I fact or am I fiction? Am I what I know I am or am I what he thinks I am? This question Fevers asked herself is the main question Walser asked himself all through the novel. So, am I fact or fiction can be interpreted as a supernatural situation, also the winged lady. Let's look at the gender roles and relationships. Of course, our main focus is Fevers. The main attention is paid to the heroine, Fevers, who links most of the positive values with femininity, which is not a surprise. Angela Carter is a feminist activist, so her main character should be like that. For example, as Mikolayak notices, she refers to London as a one-breasted queen of Amazons, or she describes the Madame Nelson's brother as a perfect loving utopia where the priestess of love spent their entire free time with self-education and developing their virtues. Travers is far from the traditional patriarchal image of a woman or a lady as someone beautiful, obedient, modest, shy, mannered, neat, and decent. Interesting just for her beauty, at the very most by some domestic skills. She is endowed by qualities traditionally attributed to men, unlike, for example, the female characters of Jane Austen or Bronte's sister, who are, however, still quite exceptional for their time. Brave and morally integrated, Fevers is dominating, outrageous, very messy, and bold. So, what do we see here? We have a vice versa situation. Travers is almost fearless both in performing her trapeze act and in her interpersonal relationships. She is often the one who saves Walser when he gets into trouble during his stay with Circus, employed as a clown. In these acts, she executes conventionally male's role, hence vice versa. Throughout the novel, she also overcomes three adversities, a task which is traditionally in fairy tales, etc., submitted to men. As far as her relationship to Walter is concerned, at first she is indifferent towards him, and only later on she develops feelings for him. So, and typically for female characters, she boldly observes him as a sexually attractive object. She does not pretend to like him for his chivalrous character or brilliant mind, she just fancies his good looks. By endowing a female character by this superficial way of perceiving an individual of the opposite sex, Carter provokes readers' common assumption about the divide of female and male roles. At the end of the novel, Ferris takes over the active role entirely and sets off to the search for Walter to reunite with him. So, let's look at the other main character, Jack Walter. On the contrary, the main male character, Jack Walter, seems to lack any outstanding or interesting characteristics or features, at least at the beginning. He is a young American journalist who, since the moment he sits down into the chair of Ferris' dressing room, sets off to a picturesque journey which ends by his rebirth in Ferris' arms. Walter does not bear the attributes that were traditionally ascribed to men. He is not significantly richer or stronger than Fevers, neither is he more worldly wise or experienced. Nevertheless, the inversion is not entire. He does not exactly show the characteristics traditionally assigned for female characters. This is because the dichotomy is not purely overturned. The counterparts are made equals instead. We examined our two main characters, gender roles, and relationships. Let's look at the others. The criminal woman's panopticon represented the ideas in society about the female identity and gender stereotypes. They were stuck in the trap of their visibility and they performed their gender as the society expected them, but eventually they unsettled everything and escaped the prison, which is heteronormative society. They get liberated, and it is their sexuality that leads them along the way. However, Full Cost Panopticon doesn't contain any solution for these women, and it is Carter's feminism that creates the possibility of change for them. The criminal women escape and form a female-only utopian society. So, another interesting character that we should take a look at her gender role is Mignon. Mignon's history is the history of women without voices to speak for themselves. She is entirely an object to be used by the various men who mistreat her. She is the stereotypical unhappy woman in terms of gender roles. But far from simply charting the masculinist appropriation of women, Knights foregrounds rebellion's regenerative principle in abuse. And each of these women forged their own counter-normative subjectivities through a psychic rebirth of sorts. For Minion, for instance, this is through a friendship and lesbian love attachment to the Princess of Abyssinia. Okay, that was all. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.